Welcome to Inside Melbourne, episode 4, and what a huge episode we have for you this week. Our special guest on the podcast, Jesse Hogan, Tom Morris. It's going to be a big show.
Yeah, can't wait to speak to Jesse Hogan and dissect a little bit of the weekend's game, which was a pleasing win against Brisbane. There's always this danger game going to the Gabba. Always a danger game going anywhere, but especially going into state like that. And I've got to admit, I think most Melbourne fans, and I was a little bit worried.
So let's dissect it now. Jumped out of the blocks, very, very handy lead. I think 42 odd points at one stage. I was up there, actually. I was feeling very, very happy with the Ds. And then all of a sudden, Brisbane switched it on. Scores level. And then we ended up steadying through Jesse Hogan, who will be with us very shortly, by the way, a 26-point win. Do we just bank it and move on? Is that the way to go?
Yeah, I think so. I've just got to get out of my head, and I know a lot of Melbourne supporters are the same. Whenever things aren't going right, I think to myself, same old Melbourne. And I don't like thinking that way because it's actually not the same old Melbourne. It's a new group. It's a new team. We've got a coach that's in his second year. But, geez, when Brisbane started coming back, it was really, really difficult. All
right, so Tommy, we addressed it last week with the skipper. These lapses, concentration lapses, are they a concern?
Yeah, they are a concern, but it's only early in the year, though. Yeah. And I think the most important thing is W's and L's at the moment, or W's specifically. And if you can get the wins, well, you sort of, as you said, you bank them and move on. I was reasonably content with this performance in the end.
How good was Jeffy Garlett?
Yeah, he was
just the composure. Came to the rescue, and just when we needed it most, he looked terrific.
4 goals, 17 disposals. I love what he does. I think every good team has a couple of good small forwards, and Jeff Garlett's unbelievable. I can't believe Carlton let him go.
I can't believe it. I mean, that's another thing altogether. Every time I see him play, I can't believe that Carlton let him go.
And Eddie Betts. Imagine Betts and Garlett in the same forward line. I'm laughing at the Blues all day.
Don't we anyway?
Yeah, we do anyway. But geez, they've let some good ones go. Bryce Gibbs as well to Adelaide. But I've just got to say, I think Jeff Garlett is a crucial part of our team. But his defensive pressure is really high as well. And I know the coaches love to talk about that sort of stuff, but it's really, really important that he puts on tackles.
Who else impressed you at the Gabba?
Look, I'm always impressed with Clayton Oliver. Yeah. I honestly reckon that...
Had it on a string again.
All the chat is about Tom Mitchell every week at Hawthorn. Probably fair enough, given he had 54 and then he's had 40 on Easter Monday. But Clayton Oliver, every single week, is getting just bulk possessions, 35 disposals. I know that 24 of them were handballs, but when he has the ball, the opposition doesn't. I love watching Clayton Oliver play. He gets in their face. He looks fit. It's really, really good to watch. And the other guy that really impressed me was Bailey Fritsch again. I know they only had 9 kicks, but he's just smart, isn't he?
Very
Even though
smart.
He's very light.
And also composed. Fairly composed as well for a young man.
Yep, and it was good to see Tom Bugg back. Jake Melksham did some smart stuff because he really impressed me during AFLX, and I reckon even though it's a completely different game, he's carrying that form forward a little bit as well. So I think it's all coming together well, and any team that is leaving Angus Brayshaw out must be a pretty strong 22.
Well, yeah, exactly, and Gus will no doubt be itching to get back into this senior squad, which brings us to this week, the Roos.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Is it time to say hooroo to the hoodoo?
Oh, I hope so. Well, look at the big hoodoos. So the biggest one's the Premierships in 1964. Let's just bank that for a little bit. Yeah. Second biggest one's Finals, 06. And then we finished the Etihad Stadium one when we beat the Giants a year or two ago in the last round of the year. We beat the Saints last year. North Melbourne is a hoodoo, one of the big 5 hoodoos we need to get rid of.
Get rid of it. Just turf
And there's no reason why it should exist because, to be honest, they're no good anymore. They're not. They're actually not much of a team. I mean, I know they played well against St Kilda, but I'm not sure how good St Kilda are either.
Gave them a kicking in the JLT series, so hopefully we can replicate that at the G. Do you see any movement come game day?
I find it hard to see how we can continually keep Angus Brayshaw out, but I guess that's exactly what they're thinking. You don't know what the coaches are thinking, but I'd like to see him in there sooner rather than later. I don't know where a spot's going to come up, but he's just got to stay fit and hopefully gets in because he's easily good enough to be in this team.
Speaking of a bloke who is staying fit, and that's our guest, Jesse Hogan. He's doing some great things this year. Slotted 5 at the weekend.
Yeah, 3 against Geelong.
3 against Geelong. I've been so impressed with his headspace. His attack on the footy is second to none, and he's going to be joining us very soon. But just to quickly on his output so far this season.
Yeah, I think a big key forward is probably limited in the game. You look at Tom Hawkins and these big bulking key forwards, their actual presence isn't the same as what it was. So you need a change, you need to evolve. And Jesse Hogan is more agile than he used to be. He's quicker, he looks quicker, looks like he's moving better. And it's better for him. He's got far more longevity in the game than what he would have had a couple of years ago because of how his body is at the moment. And it's great to watch. He could easily kick 50 or 60 or even 70 goals this year.
Or 100 as the Dodgers manager wants.
Oh, yes.
We'll ask him about that. that interview very, very shortly. Plus, obviously, his troubles last year. We'll go into that on Inside Melbourne. Plus, you've got a few curly ones for him as well about all like the Simpsons and
video games.
He's a big video gamer. Who knew?
I'll set it up. There's a video game called Fortnite. And
I'd never heard of it.
People love it. My housemates love it. I'm not as much into it, but the word is that Jesse Hogan is obsessed.
All right. We'll ask him about that plus so much more on Inside Melbourne, presented by Zurich, after this short break. Thanks to our co-major partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich. For more than 100 years, they've been ensuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and truly love Melbourne. Hello again from the team at Inside Melbourne, episode 4, and with thanks to Zurich, we have a very special guest to welcome, Tom.
We do, Clint. We have Jesse Hogan in the Inside Melbourne bunker today. 53 games, 113 goals over a short career, and there's clearly expectations, Jesse. Thanks for joining us. But how do you deal with them on a weekly basis?
Yeah, thanks, Clint. Thanks, Tom, for having me. You kind of try not to... you go week by week, I guess, as a key forward. You don't want to look at it, you don't want to have set goals for the end of the year. That's kind of the way I'm taking it at the moment, week to week, and just catch up with coaches on Monday and go from there, really.
How do you assess your form this year over a short sample size, clearly, but you've been pretty influential over just the 2 games we've had?
Yeah, I think I tried to go in with the JLT with a bit more of a focus to find a bit of form there and take that into round 1 and 2. I started round 1 pretty slowly, but found a bit of form in round 2, so yeah, it's been a pretty good start.
Hogs, take us back to the weekend. We'll do a bit of review first and foremost. The boys got away like a bull at a gate, and then Brisbane came and challenged us and then got away again. So what was the game like for you?
Yeah, I think the start was extremely pleasing. I think that's exactly how we wanted to start, and we got all the fundamentals and what we wanted to do right. And then for us not to expect Brisbane to come out and do what they did was a bit disappointing, but then to be able to fight back, maybe a year or 2 ago we might have lost that game, and we would have been going 0-2, and then could have been a disaster. So the resilience of the boys to fight back and get the win there was huge, but at the same time we'll review round 3 and go from quarter 3 and go from there.
I'm interested in how that happens on the field when you sense that Brisbane's coming and you feel like you're under the pump. Who's driving that message on the field to say, come on boys, we need to lift again now? Because it's difficult once you go well in the first half to then pick it up again, isn't it, once Brisbane rebound?
Yeah, it's almost like the half time is a bit of a curse. You have the momentum and then it kind of starts again. But obviously it's our leaders, obviously led by Nathan Jones and Gorney in the middle, and then we got leaders all around the ground. So they kind of just calm everyone down and reset, and then we go from there.
Looked like the conditions, it was a bit dewy. Is that right with the humidity and all that?
Yeah, no, it was. I think it was like 23, 24 degrees, and it wasn't too bad. And then the second half was pretty much like playing wet weather footy, and it's something we had to adapt to, which we weren't quite expecting. But yeah, we got there in the end.
Tough after the Geelong game as well, given what happened there and how free-flowing that game was, and how, I guess, poor defensively we were in the first half. But did you tick off the key performance indicators you wanted to as a team against Brisbane?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I think
aside from winning, obviously.
Yeah, look, obviously that's the one you want to get, and everything underneath that is a bonus. The first half was extremely good, and that's exactly what we set out to do, coming off the back of a close loss to Geelong. And then, like I said before, we just got to review the third quarter and what went wrong there and learn from it, I guess.
Bit of midfield time for you, Jess, as well. How are you finding that? I think the fans love it.
Yeah, I like it. You were there, Clint. You were at the Gabba.
I had a few beers, actually. I don't know if I can remember much of the second half, if I'm entirely honest.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. No, it's just every now and then track. It's not so much me going to the midfield. It's track wanting to play forward. I think he likes to have a couple of goals next to his game come the end of the game. So me and him kind of have a bit of a swap with Clayton to go deep. So, yeah, look, I get there probably 1 or 2 minutes a quarter, but nothing too much, just depending on how tired the big track is.
And track tells you all about it, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely, man. He's the bloke who reads the paper. He'll be the one reading his Supercoach story straight after the game.
Did you play much midfield as a kid growing up? I mean, I think in junior footy, the best players always just play midfield. But did you play midfield at a reasonable level growing up?
No, I played ruck, so not really.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of just the big ruckman for until I was about 12, 13, 14. So.
Yeah. And what about ruck? You prefer playing forward now to ruck, clearly. You've got Max Gawn, so you don't need to be that big man in the middle?
No, the ruck, they'll never go back in the ruck. I'm really hoping not to be that second ruck ever, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah. We're going to take some questions from the outer, but I just want to tease it with one from Sarah You were clunking them at the weekend beautifully and in round 1 too. But she asked, should the club implement a fine system where any player who spoils you in a marking contest has to buy you breakfast?
No, that's big. No, that's big. Gorney's the one. If he ever drifts forward and you spoil him, get out of the way. When he slides down, especially because he thinks he gets tagged every week by ruckman. If he comes down the forward line, you got to let him fly.
I'd love to see Gorney angry, Clint.
Absolutely.
That'd be terrific. I can't really imagine it. Even when we kicked the point that against Geelong, he sort of brushed it off a couple of days later.
He did.
Almost impossible to anger. I want to ask you about last year in general, Jesse, because it was difficult in many respects, and I think all Melbourne supporters felt for you looking in, given what happened to you and your family and so forth. How difficult was it, not last year, because you've spoken about that a lot, but over the summer to move on and actually get involved in your footy again?
It's for me, it was kind of just something I'd never had to deal with before.
Yep.
I'd been pretty smooth sailing. I've been pretty lucky, to be entirely honest. And then for all of it to happen in the space that did was, it rocked me pretty deep. But then, like the off season, I tried to just get away and have a clear mind and spent a bit of time in Melbourne, back in Perth, and did a few overseas trips. But just to kind of press reset and have a different kind of perspective over the whole. What AFL is to me now is probably the biggest thing I take out of it. But
do you think it probably AFL means less to you now than what it did, and that can be a good thing as well, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. At the time, AFL was just everything.
Yeah.
I think I was 21, and that's all I kind of cared about. And now, like I said, got a bit different perspective on it, and there's a bit more to, I see it a bit more broadly than what I did probably a year and a half ago.
Given that, Jess, so how does life at a footy club help? That you're coming into a workplace where you're surrounded by all your closest mates, coaches, support staff. How much did this place help you?
Yeah, no, massively. I was thinking the other day, I was sitting there with Harmsy, and we've actually been here for longer than we've been at high school.
Yeah.
And that's actually pretty crazy to think about because it goes so fast. But look, you spend every day with the same, 44 blokes and mostly the same staff, so you get to know them pretty well. But they couldn't have been any better. The club was super supportive, and just the transition back into the day-to-day grind was pretty much seamless.
So who are your best mates around this joint? I mean, I hate to ask that question because you are a bit of a rat pack. Is that fair to say?
No, not really. We float around. We see how we go. No, it changes week to week. Because you spend so much time with him. Harms, he's probably me closest, but then again, he's probably me. The bloke I fight with the most.
A married couple.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Yeah.
And then I've got an Xbox and a PlayStation, so I used to have an Xbox, but got pretty sick of playing with track, so bought a PlayStation so I can play with Vines and Clayton. We're such a young group. I think we're all pretty close, but it just depends. If Clayton got his full 4 hours or if he got 8 hours, don't bother talking to him.
Jess brings up a very interesting subject, and that is video games.
Oh, jeez.
Hasn't the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook gone off with questions about a certain game that you play? Tell us about it. Fortnite, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one, Clint. You sound a bit old there, mate.
Spelled slightly differently.
Yeah, I am a little bit old. Okay,
I want to hear about it.
What's it all about?
Look, I'm pretty late to the scene, but it's just pretty much just a gun game that is pretty simple. There's one map, the same guns every time, but it's probably the most addictive game I've ever played. And I think there's about 50% of the boys at the club play it, led by Captain Jack Viney, who's probably our best player. So, look, it's just, it's just a passing fad, I think, but at the moment it's so addicting and everyone's on it.
Do you play against each other with the headphones on and you're speaking to each other in different houses and different areas, or is it just within the one place?
No, we've all got headsets. Yeah, we've all made the investment into headsets, but we're not the only club. Like I see, like every other club, I follow a few of the boys at St Kilda, and they're all playing it and posting.
Do you play against them?
No, I'm teeing up a game with Blakey Akers, but haven't played with him yet. I want to get better than him first before I play him. I don't want to go out there and get beaten.
WA boys playing against each other video games. That's the world we live in, Clint.
Amazing stuff. Hey, we're going to get more from the Adder after this short break. Jesse Hogan joins us on Inside Melbourne.
AFL, Aussie Rules Football. Who's your favourite team?
Of course, it's the Melbourne Demons.
Really?
Yeah, I want to see Jesse Hogan kick 100 goals this year. Jesse, you're my man.
Welcome back to Inside Melbourne. Clint Stanaway, Tom Morris, and our special guest, Jesse Hogan. That was Dave Roberts, LA Dodgers manager, who is a big fan of our special guest. Jess, what did you think when you heard that, mate?
Yeah, I was just, I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday or something. I just got home and got tagged in something by ESPN Australia, New Zealand. And I was like, that's a bit strange. It doesn't happen too often. And then looked into it and it was actually pretty cool. I saw instantly saw the recognition of the LA Dodgers and decided to watch it. And yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
Are you a baseball fan?
No.
You're an American sports fan?
I'm an American sports fan, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Can you kick 100 goals this season? That's what he wants.
Oh, look, to be fair, I don't think he was, I think he might have got wired up for that one. I don't think he's fully aware of how difficult that one might be. Maybe Buddy Franklin was the one that might be able to get there. But yeah, look, it's not on the agenda just yet.
Tell us about Jesse Hogan away from football. What do you like to do in the summer and when you're not focusing on your skills and your craft?
Oh yeah, I'm a pretty active person. I like to go like to travel. Anytime I get to go surfing down Torquay or whatnot, I do that. But yeah, look, there's not a whole lot I do. I don't. I'm pretty standard really. I just kind of keep myself busy
and playing video games.
And video games. Even on nice days, I'm pretty much just cooped up in my room, blinds closed.
And meeting Hulk Hogan as well. That's Ola has got a question for us. What was it like meeting the original Hulk here at Amy Park?
Yeah, it was pretty intimidating, to be honest. I kind of found out about 5 seconds before I walked into the room. I thought I was just going in to get lunch, and then I saw him sitting there, and he was fully in, fully in his mode. Like he was, and it absolutely rattled me. I was 19, and I was absolutely,
starstruck.
Yeah, starstruck. And then he kind of kept going. And I was like, oh, he's gonna snap out of this mode soon. And he kept going, and I was sitting there going, he's actually gonna throw me through the table.
Are you a wrestling fan?
Yeah, I was back in the day. I wasn't a massive wrestling fan. Yeah, exactly. Well, I was actually there's a ping pong table over there that was pretty thin. I'm like, he's gonna put me through that. There's gonna be some epic filming, but no, I didn't get there in the end.
There was a lot of speculation last year about your contract and whether you're going to go home to Western Australia and so forth. And there seems to be that sort of speculation all year, every year with various players, Clint with Rory Sloane and Tommy Lynch and McGovern. And it just seems to go on and on. How did you deal with that? Because you can talk about it now, can't you? When you look back on that time, it was quite ridiculous given that you'd given no indication that you were ever going to leave the club.
Yeah, I think that's just the way it is. I think probably 5 or 6 years ago, there was probably only 1 or 2 footy shows, and now there's 4 a night. So they kind of, if they find something to talk about, they'll talk about it to the nth
by
degree.
Tom Morris.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry for talking about it.
Big plug.
On the couch, no worries. 8:30 Mondays. But clearly you didn't. It didn't seem to affect your form. But you would have had people asking about it all the time. When you're not just journalists, I'm talking friends and family and things like that, trying to get in your ear and work out exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more people talk about it, the more it kind of becomes normal to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what Tom Lynch is going to go through this year. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what he's going to do, but he's going to be the topic of conversation all year, and it's just going to get louder and louder. And it's you try and avoid as much as you can, but it's always going to be there.
Do you feel for him, Hoax? Apart from the fact that he's probably sitting on a fair old nest egg.
Yeah, he's going all right, I think.
Do you feel for him?
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's a tough decision. He's kind of. I think Gold Coast starting as well as they have, is a good sign. But look, it's going to be a super, super hard decision one way or the other.
If you were playing alongside a player that you knew was going to leave, would that affect you at all, or would you just play the game as normal?
I just play the game. Yeah, I wouldn't hold a grudge on anyone that was to leave, especially if they were to come home or to do whatever. Yeah,
and what if you were going to leave? Again, it's a big hypothetical, but do you believe you could still play your best footy knowing you're going to leave in round 10 of a season?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you can narrow your focus enough, I think that's a skill you got to have playing AFL, not to be able to focus on the future. If you can take it week to week, I couldn't see why you couldn't continue to play good footy.
Imagine a forward line with Tom Lynch and Jesse Hogan.
Let's do it. I reckon we can get a deal done, can't we?
What's our salary cap like? I think we've got some space, don't we? We'll
make space.
Yep.
Offloads.
That'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it? But there's so many clubs after Tom Lynch. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. But it's probably the most attractive topic to talk about for a lot of footy pundits, isn't it? Who's going where? People like the trade period more than like the footy sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's what happens in the Premier League, at least, that transfer period. Anyway, go on, Clint.
Hey, let's switch focus to the basketball, NBA. I know yourself, Track, you're keen players. What NBA team do you go for, and who's your favourite NBA player? That's from Nathan.
I used to be a massive Pacers fan because I love Paul George. Now, I probably don't actually follow a team, unfortunately. I probably just follow players I like to watch, which is pretty boring.
I got a question. This is from Peter Neal, and I love this sort of question.
Yeah, go.
Really reminds me of my childhood, Clint. Peter Neal, hello, Jesse. I heard you love The Simpsons. Is this true? If so, what is your favourite episode?
Oh, that's a massive call. There's over 600.
A lot of TV
You've got to wire me up there. It is true. I am a massive Simpsons fan. Seasons 8 to 12 are the best.
Yeah.
Trying to pick an episode really quickly.
Can I just chuck a few at you? The Frank Grimes episode.
Oh, I watched that one. I actually watched that one a week and a half ago. It wouldn't be in my top 10 though.
What about the one where Homer gets fat on purpose to be disabled?
Oh, that is actually an elite episode. That is an elite
right
episode.
up there. What about the ones with some special characters that come in? Is there one where the astronaut, Homer becomes an astronaut?
Yeah, that's elite. Tony Hawk's featured. There's been that many features. It's
maybe we come back to the end and you can actually pinpoint your favourite.
I'll try. Yeah, I'll get to it.
I agree. Seasons 8 to 12, before it became wide HD, Clint. That's where it's at.
Welcome back to Inside Simpsons. If you're just joining us, hey, we've got 4 pages of questions here. Some far and wide the questions have come.
And this is from Vanish.p. What advice would you give me going into my 6th year of playing football this year? I'm under 14s.
It's a good one.
6 year under 14s. You kind of starting to get
veteran.
into the I was going to say 6 years sounds. I was going to say it's 14. I just just got to enjoy it. That's what I always say to people that ask me how what to do, especially at that age. Favourite part was, getting down and just, playing with my mates and hopefully getting a, happy meal after the game. But, just enjoy it and listen to your coaches. It starts to get a bit more serious after 14. Do
you still love footy?
Yeah.
Do you love the game? Like, do you watch other games as well, or you just focus on the Ds?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that was strange. Once I got drafted, I didn't actually watch footy at all before I got drafted.
Yeah, really?
I used to live in East Melbourne. I used to go to probably 2 or 3 games a weekend and just watch a half of footy, and really started to just, be a student of the game. I guess I just really enjoyed going to games and watching it and being more involved.
Do you watch the forwards closer?
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, especially when I was injured my first year, I'd go down and watch a particular forward, whether that be Josh Kennedy or Tom Lynch, just to see how they play at the G or something like that.
Speaking of the G, that's where we'll be this weekend against North Melbourne. It's a big game in many senses. Obviously, to go 2-1 would be sensational, but also to break this bloody hoodoo. Can you believe?
Well, Jesse,
how long it's actually.
If my maths are correct, Clint, Jesse was 11 the last time Melbourne defeated North Melbourne. Nathan Jones playing his 4th game. He's now played 200
and had hair.
Well, maybe not actually. I think he had no hair at the start. The hoodoo is a hoodoo, but clearly you weren't there at the start. You haven't been there for a long part of it. Does it have any role at all in this weekend's game?
The supporters definitely remind you. I definitely don't really take too much note of it. Last time we played Kangaroos, I was at we played in Tasmania, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I broke my collarbone and I was on the green whistle. I can't remember the game, to be entirely honest. But yeah, look, I think, I remember when we broke the hoodoo against St Kilda and Etihad, it was a massive deal. So, we've got to go out there and block it out. And, I don't think that has any bearing whether we win or lose, but we got to, just get the win.
We haven't hit our straps yet, clearly. Geelong, there were parts of the game which were really impressive, and Brisbane, the first half was really good, then we came home strong. What do you need to do to make sure you get that 4-quarter performance in? What's Simon Goodwin asking for?
Yeah, that's, I think if any team that can get 4 quarters in the modern game is doing something extremely well. I think the way the game's going, it's getting extremely hard to be able to link 4 quarters in every facet of the game perfectly. But yeah, just the fundamentals of what our game are based around, which is contested ball, into our defensive structures. I think if we can link those 2 things together for 4 quarters, then we'll be right in it.
Hogs, a lot of the questions here also pertain to finals footy and the D's playing finals. How special would it be for you? You've been at the club a while now to play at the MCG in the red and blue in September.
Yeah, well, that's what you play footy for, to be honest. Simple as that. Look, I've never played. I get to watch my mates play that I got drafted with, and you kind of a bit envious when, you're going your off-season trips and they're kind of got, a few games left to play, especially at the G. But yeah, look, I think that's what you play footy for, and, week to week, obviously, but that's always in the back of your mind, that chance to play finals and just play at the G in front of 80,000+.
I just saw this question from Paulie, Les Paul 44. Do you have any pre-game superstitions? And probably more importantly, who has the weirdest pre-game superstitions in the Demons team?
Oh, pre-game superstitions. I don't have too many. I have the same breakfast, but it's not anything ridiculous.
What's the breakfast?
Well, you're going to ask that thing. There's going to be something interesting in there, but there's honestly not. No, it's just I have 3 poached eggs on toast with bacon and 2 coffees. That's it.
2 coffees separately?
2. I have one at the start and then I have a pickle at the end. It's a bit strange.
And what about your teammates?
Oh, I'm trying to think who had. No, there's no one who has ridiculous ones. Who does something before a game? No, I used to do some really weird stuff, but I've stopped
What
doing
did you
that.
used to do?
Before every game in my first year, I used to walk to the club the night before and have like 3 set shots on Collingwood's ground at each end, like 10 at night. There'd be a game on at the G and I'd have to walk past. Like I was really superstitious. Well, for my first game, I was really, really nervous.
Yeah.
So I decided to just go for a walk to the club and I just had a footy in my hand. And then I just happened to have, I don't know why, I happened to have 1 shot. And then I just did it. And then I played pretty well and I did it every game. And I'd get to the night before the game, I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered doing this, but I'm so superstitious. I got to go and do it.
And you slotted them most of the time?
I'd have to, yeah. If I didn't, I'd have to.
And why did it stop?
Oh, look, I think it got to the end of the year and then I'm like, I'll try. I won't do it with 1 game. Then I must have played it right and because I couldn't be bothered doing it.
Imagine if Eddie Maguire or Bucks walked out. What would Jesse Hogan do here?
We don't want them walking out. No. Hey, Jess, we can't thank you enough for being with us here on Inside Melbourne. It's been a terrific insight and all the best for this week. It's a big challenge for the club and no doubt for you too.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tom Morris, he's a champion and will be with us for many years to come. Jesse Hogan.